After a grueling two-day journey via Cairo and Turkey, a South African humanitarian team has arrived in Syria. The trauma surgeons, doctors and nurses are now setting up camp in Darkoush in the country's north. Let's cross live to Yusuf Omar, who is traveling with Gift of the Givers in Syria. We do hope we'll be able to hear him properly. It is indeed not the greatest line. Yusuf, there's a real element of fearlessness among this team going into what's arguably one of the most dangerous places in the world right now. Is there no fear of attack knowing that there's fighting so close to where you are?
Absolutely. The doctors really, they were a little bit shaken up after that missile did strike the mountain just moments after we arrived. But having said that, they just got straight to work. They were reassured by the locals that haven't had any such injuries or anything of that nature that's even happened recently in this area, and it's an odd occurrence. So the doctors are working. We've seen them already conducting various surgeries, various I was with him. There's a 6-year-old with shrapnel in his stomach, kind of in a position where he can't even eat. So the dietitians are really involved, trying to work out how we're going to keep this child alive by feeding him.
So not a moment to waste. Just tell us a little bit about this makeshift hospital that was set up a few months ago, which is the base, really, that these doctors are going to be using for the next few days.
I'm actually standing on the highest ladder on the roof of it, just signal 25 days, and it's something else. It's our nearest hospital in 40 kilometers to the south, west, and east. So you've got guys from across the country for aid here. We've got 2 surgeries for trauma. We've got a ward, an intensive care unit. It's a surprisingly well maintained and equipped facility. And it's actually been running long before the South Africans got here. I mean, it was set up by the humanitarian organization, but there's a lot of local doctors who are operating here. But they definitely need the support they can get. Africans that have arrived, they're completely overwhelmed, especially with these recent attacks that we saw yesterday. We've seen influx of people coming in. We've seen the wait. It's in full gear.
Yusuf, how big is the team you're traveling with?
The team that we're traveling with is comprised of 43 medics and volunteers, and then we've got a team of 16 journalists on board. The journalists are the last to cross the border, and yeah, it's a big group. It's not easy for 2 people across the border through underhand channels, but to get this kind of group to get to where we are today was an incredible feat.
We're looking at some of the terrifying explosions that continue to take place in that part of the country. Are you traveling with any security?
We haven't got any security at this stage. What we are resting assured is that the area that we're in, Darkoush, has been liberated since November, and it's a very, very strong rebel outpost. Practically every man I can see in every direction is wearing camouflage, and he's got his rifle on his lap. They're protecting their own home, they're protecting their own shops. And it's very much a living, breathing again. I'm seeing construction all over the place. I'm seeing houses coming up again. I'm seeing that are open and groceries and a little bit of a market in the distance. So it's alive. And that's really what was chosen for this destination as the hospital. We're also covered by mountains in every direction. We're very much with a river. So it's got some natural fundamentals that act as a defense.
Yusuf, just give us an idea of how long this operation involving these volunteers is supposed to take.
Well, we aim to be here for before we go back to Turkey via the that we came in, which I'm not allowed to talk about at this stage. And during that time, we're going to be visiting other areas, not just the hospital, but also the refugee camps. You must understand that not only 1 million people have been displaced out of the country to Lebanon, Turkey, but there have been 2 to 3 million people the United Nations estimate that are refugees within the country that have moved to different towns, different areas, just to escape the violence. And towns have been utterly, 80-90% of the buildings no longer exist. So a lot of people are looking for refuge, and we will be meeting some of those people.
I'm going to leave it there, Yusuf. Thanks very much for that live coverage coming to us from off the ground there in Syria, the area of Darkoush.